Hello and welcome back. My name is Sarah Verghese. I am the visibility coach with SheRex Marketing, and we have a special guest today. We are talking to Chris from Boulder, Colorado, and he owns a company called Revent, and he is going to tell us all about how he came up with the company, what the purpose of it is, and how it can help you increase your visibility. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the Visibility Coach podcast and to the YouTube channel. Can you take a few minutes and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here, Sarah. So my name is Chris Deardorff. I'm CEO and co-founder of revnt, and we are a video monetization platform specifically designed for coaches, consultants, and other like-minded entrepreneurs. And I got here, or I guess I kind of, came into where I am now as I used to be a marketing consultant and coach. I ran an agency for several years for growing companies in Colorado. And I think like a lot of coaches and consultants, I wanted to, scale my company, grow my business. And I, started to dabble in trying to sell educational videos. I went down the path of YouTube and the course platforms and Zoom webinars and all that stuff. And what I learned is that trying to make money selling educational videos is actually, kind of reserved for elite video creators, people who can spend every waking hour, creating and selling videos, which just isn't a reality for the vast majority of us coaches and consultants. And so kind of after wringing my hands and frustrations for, uh, a couple of years, I joined forces with a couple other folks and we decided to solve our own problem. And that led to the creation of revnt. And what's really exciting is we're kind of, really driving this value proposition of providing a, a faster, simpler, more profitable way for coaches and consultants to sell their educational video content.
Yeah. So you were in marketing, you were a consultant, you had a problem and you looked at all of the vast majority of programs that were out there and didn't find something that would actually meet your issues. And so you just created something new. Is that like how did you come up with like wanting to be the solution to
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think, um, that's I think honestly that's where some of the best products are born, right? Is it's a solution to your own personal problem or pain point. And I think I was just seeing this. I remember at one time I was checking out Teachable and Udemy, and I just felt so overwhelmed by like everything I needed to do to like build a course, create a course. Like an average course, this is according to Teachable, it takes 30 to 45 days to create, right? That's like insane, especially if you're a business owner and you're serving clients and trying to run your business and you're like, and I got to take another 30 45 days just to create a course before it can even make any money. And yeah, I was just like so overwhelmed, so intimidated by the whole process. But at the same time I was like, there's got to be a better way where those of us who have knowledge to share, and it's valuable knowledge that people would likely pay for, there's got to be a better way to do that. And that kind of just led me down the path of really kind of creating that better way.
Yeah, that's amazing. Cause yeah, I mean, I've been on Thinkific before, most of my friends are on Kajabi and it's a given that, this is just industry standard. Of course, it's going to take you, at least a month, maybe two
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get a course up and running and to then create a community around it. And everything is like building on that platform. So I'm curious, you set out to be different. What makes your platform different than the other ones that are out there? Why does it not take as long to create content on your platform?
Yeah. So there's a couple things. One, we've kind of stripped away all of that kind of hassle and frustrating kind of upfront legwork that comes with, getting videos ready to sell or building a course. So on our platform, we've streamlined the process to where you can take an average, 30 to 90-minute video and you can have it set up, built, price, ready to sell in less than 10 minutes. Um, and so we've really kind of truncated that front end time, which I think makes um, our platform just feel a lot more approachable, a lot more user friendly. Um, and
I'm going to back up
you
for
know,
a minute. How in
yeah,
the world are you like getting all of this up and running in like less than 10 minutes? Like,
yeah. So I mean, I think a lot of where um, these other platforms miss the mark is, they send people down the road of, oh, you gotta, make sure you have a product to sell, or you gotta, make sure you build your full on e-commerce page or even a full on website. And I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people where it's just like, it's just so daunting, right? And they get, started, or they get halfway, kind of down the path, and they're like, this is just too much. I can't do this and run my business at the same time. And so they get so frustrated they give up. And that's where they come to us, where basically we've built kind of a completely templated video marketplace, right? So, I like to say, in our calls, all you need is a header image, a logo, and some text. You're ready to rock and roll. And people love that, the fact that they're not having to go through all these machinations just to sell some content. And then on our back end, we just make it really simple and logical. It's just step by step. It walks you through. We have a very kind of easy tutorial that kind of tells you do this next and that next and that next. And so that's where, we've got people. What's so funny is we've got people on all spectrums of kind of technology savviness.
yeah.
And even to my surprise, they've picked up the platform like that. People that I'm like, nervous for, and they're like, nope, got it built, no problem, like no issues. And I'm like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I was building my course on Thinkific, like I'm good at technology, but
Yeah.
even building the layout of the website that was going to hold the courses, like their tutorials were good, but they weren't enough. So I had to go on YouTube and look up someone else's tutorial and then watch a little bit, put on pods, go back over, build a little bit,
Right.
go back over here, build a little bit more, and like back and forth, because like it was so more complicated, like to get my brand across, to make it look like mine, but then still like all I wanted to do was upload videos. Like the videos were done and just upload the videos,
Yeah.
because the creating the video part isn't really the hard part. It's getting the platform to look like it's my website
Right. Right.
to, get it up and running. And then,
Right.
yeah, I see that now. Like a lot of what the other platforms do is you you can't just upload things. You have to like
Yeah. Yeah.
build the website.
Yeah. And this speaks to kind of, um one of the dirty little secrets in the online course world that they don't want anybody to know, and that is, less than 2.5% of all the people trying to make money on, course platforms and whatnot, less than 2.5% earn at least $1,000 a month. And in fact, the vast majority of people earn between $1 to $100 a month, which really, when you do the math, does not justify the effort or the cost. And I think it just speaks to the fact that, again, unless you're, you know, uh, a super, video creator, influencer, or online course instructor, you're probably not going to make money on these platforms because they really demand you to make it a full-time job for
Yeah.
you to be successful on them.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the, videos that we're uploading are really just to give people a taste of what our coaching is like, right? It's what it's like to work with us as a consultant or a coach is through the education of it,
Hmm.
but that's not where the majority of our money comes from, like the
Hmm.
video itself. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I could see how, it's more of just another tool for marketing is to
Right.
get the videos up and going. So where did the name Revent come from?
Yeah, it was so when we initially launched the company, it was um July of 2020. So, kind of hard the
Mhm.
pandemic. And there are a couple of things at play. So one, we kind of saw some opportunity in the virtual event space. So we actually launched in that space originally. So that was a little bit of the kind of the name. And then also, not everyone picks this up. A few people do, but kind of the idea of like we're trying to reinvent how people create and consume video content. And so hence kind of the name revent.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what my assumption was that you were
Yeah.
reinventing the way,
Yep.
course creation was being done. So how does someone, when they're first approaching you, like what's the onboarding process look like? What do they need to do in order to come and start working on your platform?
Yeah, well, again, it's really simple. So when we get a new customer, um, and that's the other thing too. Like so our revenue model is primarily based on paid transaction fees, right? So if you're familiar with like Patreon or Substack,
Mhm.
kind of similar model, but we provide a much more kind of robust platform versus just a payment, portal. And but because of that payment processing, we really you know invest in our customer success. We really view our customers as partners because when they succeed, we succeed. When they make money, we make money. And so as part of that, you know we do onboardings with all our customers, and they kind of can look differently depending on, I'm sure, as yourself with your tech experience. Some people are very, fast and they pick it up right away. Some people kind of need, a little bit more kind of hand holding and kind
Yeah.
of walking through everything. But I think at the end of the day, to us, like, we want our customers feeling 100% comfortable with the platform, because odds are they're transitioning from a Kajabi, a Thinkific.
Mhm.
A lot of times people are transitioning from Zoom. We're getting a lot of people using our platform for live video, and so typically we'll do an onboarding session, maybe two, and then we're providing that ongoing support, and um, we have an active support team where we're providing email, as well as chat support to our customers. And then we also have a really robust support portal that kind of takes people through any type of kind of question they have.
Mhm. Let me back up. You said Zoom, like we can do so like right now if I'm doing like a group coaching call, I set up a Zoom link and I send it out to
Right,
everybody.
right.
What can your platform offer in place of Zoom?
Yeah, yeah. So to be honest, this is something we did not expect. We really thought the live video piece would kind of be an afterthought for our customers, but we're actually seeing a ton of demand for it. And I really think the big reason is Zoom was never intended to be used how it is used today, right? It's a
Okay.
teleconferencing tool. I mean, if
Yeah.
we rewind the clocks, back 2015, 2016, like, that's what it was used for, right? It was primarily used for team meetings and so forth. And then insert COVID, and all
Mhm.
of a sudden it's being used in mass for all these different applications, events and workshops, conferences, da da da. And so it kind of has become ingrained in kind of our culture and way of working, but it's really not designed that way. And so what what our customers have found out is that we've actually have a much better experience, for the host, but also for the audience, in terms of creating this engaging and very kind of learning and growth centric experience, right? We've built a kind of a custom version of a Slack like chat interface, which is awesome for
Okay.
building community, networking, having topic based conversations, sharing files, resources. We also have this really cool feature called synchronous notations, where people can take notes, highlights, bookmarks. All are in direct sync with the video content. So everything's time stamped. You click a note, it jumps to that exact moment in the video, and you can reference back to it, at any time, like during the live or after, during the on demand experience. And so that's where, like, we actually had a customer, he used our live video for about 9 months, went to Zoom for a month just to kind of compare. And he was like, oh no, like, I'm not going back to Zoom. And because that's where we've really created this unique experience that you just can't have on Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah. The Zoom platform is just frustrating, especially like when I'm trying to share my screen and it's not working, or someone else is
Yeah,
trying to share their screen and it's not working. It just seems to be very cumbersome in so many ways.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, like, a couple things that have just come up recently, for me and for other customers is, like, how they do chat, right? So you've got this, chaotic, scrolling chat, very kind of hard to follow, very hard to have kind of focused conversation. And then, like, I don't know if you've ever had this problem. I know all the time, I get confused. Am I talking to someone, chatting to someone directly, or is it everyone?
Yes. Yeah, that's
Eh,
happened so many times where I direct message someone in the chat,
yeah,
but then it doesn't automatically go back to talking to everyone the next time I come up. And
yeah,
or on the other side of it, they try
vice
to say something
versa.
to the whole group, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"We're still on direct messages. This is just to me, it's not to everyone." But by that point, everyone's moved on from that conversation, and they didn't get to comment what they wanted to comment for the group.
Right, right,
Um,
sometimes, like, I know it's like 5, 10 minutes later, and someone's like, this is just a chat between you and me. You didn't post that to everyone." I'm like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me." And then, the whole, like, saving chats.
yes.
Again, like, this speaks to, like, Zoom is being used in applications it's not designed for, and we're seeing that.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that, absolutely. Um, Tell me about the community features because I despise Facebook groups. I just think not only as a participant where it's just overwhelming, like I can't find a conversation we were having or
Yeah,
um, it's distracting. There's always things
yeah.
happening off to the side where you could easily click off of it. And it just seems to be not the place to build a strong community. But I've talked to you previously and you said that you have community features built in. Tell me what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, if you're familiar with like Slack or Discord, right? Like those are becoming two major community hubs. I mean, Slack, I think kind of intentionally so, but people just see the value of kind of the channel-based chat for building community. And so that's really what we've built into our platform, right? A way to essentially in kind of an organized, easy to follow fashion to build community to engage and network with your audience. So you can create chat channels based on any sort of topic or theme. You can do public or private, as well as individual and group chats. And you can do even video chat. You can do video chat within while you're watching a video, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. Um, and all these things are designed to help you best connect with other people. And, best of all, unlike Zoom, which, how annoying is don't forget to save the Zoom chat.
Mhm,
Unlike
mhm.
Zoom, the chat is persistent, right? It doesn't go away. You can keep chatting with folks. You can go back and be like, oh, what was that email I needed to get? And you can go back in, it's right there.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, yeah. So it's really this idea of creating a better way to interact, but also making it kind of a persistent asynchronous experience, which a lot of people are already doing already, through Slack, Discord, and other kind of types of community chat platforms.
Yeah, awesome. So as a coach and consultant, if anybody else is in the audience as a coach or consultant, and they are curious about like, okay, so you're telling me I can do all my group activities in this platform. What if I also have individual clients and I want to have a separate channel that's just for them, that's not
Yeah.
included in the group? Like, what does that look
hmm
like?
So on our platform, every customer can have their own, dedicated kind of video marketplace. Um, and they can have as many marketplaces as they want, really. Like, there's no limit. And what we've seen is customers, and it's kind of across the board. Like, we've seen nutritionists, we've seen financial advisors, consultants, coaches. They have realized that they can create these personalized video marketplaces for each of their clients, right? This is where they can have their live video conversations. Again, instead of doing it on Zoom,
Mhm.
it's all the recordings are housed in one place, and they can upload kind of supplementary educational videos. Maybe they're free, maybe they're available for an add-on purchase, but it's all there in one place for the client to see. And so it's really creating this kind of very personalized experience for the client, and it's really leveling up the value that you're providing to that client, right? Because I mean, how many times have we been on a call with a consultant, an advisor of some sort? We have the live call, it's great, but then the live call ends and it's like, oh, what did they say, or what was I supposed to do, or what, and like the value is gone, right?
Right. Yeah.
We've kind of like put the value of these consulting and advisory services in this live bubble, and once that bubble is gone, poof, it's
Mhm.
gone.
Yeah.
And that's where on our platform they're seeing, oh my gosh, I can really extend the value and really create this long tail of services that I can provide to my clients, which really can help not only in kind of their growth and their development, but really kind of helps ensure, client retention,
Yeah.
and also can lead to kind of more, add-on and ongoing revenue.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if I had a one-to-one client and I had like, let's say 10 one-to-one clients and then a small group program with different people, and
Yep,
then I wanted to do a webinar as well. And a
yep,
webinar that happened like once a month with
yep,
anybody that I could just gather in the moment. Is
yep.
that possible to do all three of those with all the different moving pieces and parts in one place?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like you have that full capability. And so that's, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of the platform, um, that, we probably don't talk about much, but it really is this kind of like all-in-one, one-stop shop for all of your video content, right? So, I mean, just think about how fragmented the ecosystem is today. I mean,
Mhm.
I talked to one person yesterday. He was using, it was like Zoom and YouTube, and he had this, like, what was it called, like member vault, and then he had something else and then something else. That's like 5 or 6 tools, right? Like
Yeah.
he was like
Yeah.
freaking all over the place. And I was like, if you come to our platform, you've got one tool, one place. And it's not just for us, the hosts, the coaches, the consultants. It's for the audience, right? Like,
Mhm.
how much of the audience are we losing because we're like, hey, go to Zoom for live, go to YouTube or Vimeo or Kajabi or whatever for on demand. Like, we are creating a fragmented user experience, which we
Right.
know is not great for the audience.
Yeah,
Um,
them going like, the number of times I've had clients going, "Hold on, I'm looking for the link. Where did we put the link again? Where is this at?"
right,
But it's because
right.
every time they're logging in to do a Zoom call with me, it's a new link or it's the same
Yep,
link that has been buried someplace else. So
yep,
for them to be able to come to one platform and
yep,
know their login for this one platform and know that it's going to be here every time,
yep,
whether, no matter what they're doing, I think, especially for like my clients tend to be older adults, you
yep,
know, I think it would be so much easier for them to remember how to log into it and how to get to the different things instead of being, oh yeah, we're on Facebook this time and now we're on Zoom and now we're over here and
yeah,
join the Facebook group, like for me, that's just it's pointing them in too many different directions, and I want them to stay contained and
yeah,
not get distracted by
yeah.
everything else that's around them at the same time and stay focused on the content that,
Right,
we're building
right.
together.
Yeah, it creates a much more sticky and cohesive experience. I mean, imagine if like Netflix was like, "Hey guys, go to this place for your live video, go to this place for your on demand, and then we've got, here for some community, da da da." And you'd be
Yeah.
like, "Forget it. I'm not doing this."
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I think that's the other kind of logic that we apply in our business is, I've spent a lot of time kind of working and researching the streaming video space, both for kind of, consumer as well as professional purposes. And I think there's a lot to be learned from the consumer space,
Yeah.
that I think directly applies to the professional space. So, for example, right, like, the average course completion rate is 15%, right? Really bad, really
Yeah.
bad. But you know why, like, I think that is, and this isn't just me speaking. I mean, there's research to back it up. It's because we've created these video courses that are 5, 10, 15, 20 hours long,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
it's like, and we wonder, why aren't these people completing my courses? When we think about consumer behavior, watching streaming, Netflix, Hulu, whatever,
Yeah.
what's the average content length? 30 to 90 minutes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, like that's where I think we need to, and I say kind of we kind of globally, like
Right.
we as content creators, we need to meet the audience where they're at, right? Instead of us trying to shove down, these just ridiculously long and complicated courses down people's throats, let's acknowledge, audience viewing behavior where it's at, and meet them, right? Because it's only going to benefit, them, and it's going to benefit us, right?
Yeah.
So on our platform, we really encourage our customers to, kind of limit their content to 30 to 90 minutes. You can create a course with all the modules, bells and whistles. Yeah, you can do that, and we support that. But we also say, hey, break out those course modules into 30 to 90-minute pieces of content, so
Mhm.
that people have the option, right? Either they can buy the full course, or they can buy, the individual modules. And what we found is that the our kind of video completion rate is 85%, right?
Ooh,
Yeah, we're seeing that 85%. So again, I think there's so much to be said to really being strategic about that content length, but
yeah.
also creating kind of an engaging and dynamic
Yeah,
experience.
because it's more digestible. If you, try to give them like an hour-long content piece, like
Yeah,
they're checking out after,
right,
30 minutes
right,
anyways.
right.
So, and we're not, as much as like we don't want to build an entire platform, an entire website, structure to hold our videos because it's so time consuming. We also need to think about our clients and their schedules, and that they don't want to spend hours upon hours watching a course.
Yeah,
That's just not something that fits within their time schedule either.
no.
So that's great. Any closing thoughts or ideas that I didn't ask that you want to highlight upon?
I mean, I think for us, like, a big belief we have is people value what they pay for. And I think because of social media and YouTube and podcasts and all that stuff, I think we've kind of been, I say again, we, like, kind of the global we've been pre-programmed to think we have to give all our content away, right?
Mm,
Um, and, give, and eventually we'll get them to buy. And I think for us, we're big believers in terms of, like, if it has value, like, you should charge people for it. And I'm not saying, like, you never offer free content again. I mean, absolutely you should. But I think it's this idea that you have to give everything away is just, it's ludicrous, right? And Patreon realized that, right? They realized that with kind of how they help podcasters and creators. Substacks realizing that, and we see it too. And so I think, we like to see ourselves as kind of one of the leaders in terms of kind of turning the freemium movement into the premium movement.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't do free webinars. I think people are more likely to actually show up to them after they've paid for it
Yeah.
versus,
Yeah.
oh, I've signed up for something, but I don't actually have to attend because it's free. You
Yeah.
know, they're
Yeah.
they're gonna
Yeah.
they're gonna actually put it on their calendar,
Yep.
and they're going to show up for it. If you have, it doesn't have to be a huge price to it, but a price to it makes it more valuable to them to want to show up to it.
Right.
So,
Right. And just a kind of a similar story. We had a customer who, we kept telling over and over, like, hey, like, he was big believer, oh, I gotta give it away for free. No one will come. No one will come if I charge. And we kept telling him, like, people value what they pay for. It's
mhm.
it's a fact.
Yeah.
And he was putting on these webinars. He was getting, 5, 10, pretty measly attendance. He then starts charging for this webinar, and he basically triples his attendance overnight, right? And
Yeah.
again, it's this idea that, like, psychology, you
Mhm.
know, we we pay for something and we intrinsically associate value with it,
Yeah,
right? And so,
absolutely. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, tell us how we can find you, how we can contact you. How can someone do a video demo with you on what everything looks like?
yeah, so our website revnt.io. We're also, active on LinkedIn, Facebook, so you can reach out to us there. And then, there's multiple ways on our website to get in touch with us. You can sign up for a demo, you can contact us through our chat on the website. Yeah, that's really it.
Awesome. And I met you through a networking group, but then most of our conversation has been on LinkedIn, so I can attest that he answers very quickly on LinkedIn as well. Um, so thank you so much for being here today. I really
Yeah,
appreciate getting to know your company and kind of your why behind your company. And excited to have people increase their visibility with the possibility of working with revnt as their partner. So thank you so much for being here.
You bet, Sarah.